Guys, it's serious face time. Net neutrality had a hinderous fate with the FCC. If you don't know what's going on, net neutrality has pretty much just been killed. It's not set in stone. Immediately right now, I'm doing this video because I am... Holy fucking God. I am... me and my neighbor have been talking. This is even happening at work. People are talking about it at work. I can say right now that the majority of the people are pissed by the choice of the FCC. In my opinion, choosing to kill net neutrality is by far the most corrupt thing I've ever seen a government have done. And I, as far as hell, am not going to be living in a future like that. No, I'm not going to kill myself. Don't think that. I'm going to be honest, I've never more ever in my entire life, even when it came to gender equality, when it came to guns, anything like this, that stuff I understand is controversial, but when it comes to freedoms such as what net neutrality protect, it's something as American people that I will not let people mess with it. Now, this is the reason why I have the problem with net neutrality being killed. With net neutrality, internet companies such as AT&T, Verizon, Cox, any form of internet provider that you have within the U.S., they can, with net neutrality gone, not only can they charge you more, let's just say you want to watch your favorite YouTube channel. You got to pay $5 if you want to watch that in 1080p. Well, it's going to be more than that. Trust me. I believe it's going to be more than that, especially depending on the first company. I'm seriously heated on this, triggered. I wasn't expecting to come home from work and do this, but yeah, I just have to get my opinion out though. It's time to fight back as American people, because with net neutrality gone, internet companies can literally start changing what we can and can't see. They can, depending on what service provider you have, can completely block an entire website if they want to. This doesn't sound bad at face value, but imagine when it comes to people like me who are voicing their opinions, things of the American idea where we're supposed to be allowed to voice our opinion. What happened to the I may not agree with what you say, but I'll defend to the death for your right to say it? FCC's approach to kill net neutrality completely throws that out the window. A thing that our ancestors, and I know our ancestors haven't been that great. They've had their history of racism, kills, wars, but beyond that, there has been good from the things that our founding fathers did to protect the things that our freedom of speech, our freedom to browse, freedom to live, to be alive. With this, they start corrupting. They start controlling, and it starts with the internet companies. Already, they have proven to break against laws, things like that. It's happened before. Throttling issues, even with net neutrality, has happened. And thank God that we still have a chance to fight back. There's about 29 to 28 days left to have legislation enact where Congress will appeal the FCC's vote. To get this done, you have to contact your senators. You have to contact your representatives, every single one. I've already done so. I did it the night I found out. I sent them very hateful letters. I was respectful. I wasn't cussing them out or anything like that. I explained my point of views like I did in this video. It's not right that we should allow anything of this level to be controlled by a single company, by a single thing. It can shut me up. This video could get blocked, and there's nothing I could do about it. There's nothing anyone could do about it. It doesn't matter if net neutrality's gone. The thing about it is that in American views, we believe in absolute freedom, and that's one of the envious of the world, is that, with freedom, everything comes with a cost. Something about America, I think, is forgotten for a long time. And we Americans have been so busy fighting each other that finally we woke up when something happened. It's obvious that more than 80% of the United States is against this. It's almost unanimous, and I have never been alive to see anything like that. It's always been fighting over genders. It's been fighting over weapons, sex dolls. I don't even know why. That's for another topic if I ever go over it. But why are people fighting over sex dolls? Seriously, it's literally all over the internet. If you search for it, I find that idiocy. But when it comes to people's freedom, and things like this, it's absolutely wrong to allow a single government or a single service, a single person, which this technically would be a single person, whoever's in control of that company has all the power they need to control what you can see, what you can't see. They don't like you, I don't know, let's say they don't like me saying fuck. Every social content that I have access to could be blocked by my service provider. They could refuse me service at that point, or they could still look at it this way. If that's not convincing enough, say you're one of those people who like control and order. Well, look at it this way. Just say you're already paying $100 and something for your internet service. Well, you're going to pay that still, and say you want to send out text, but you don't want it to wait 10 minutes for it to send. Pay another $25 to send it in 5 minutes. It's kind of like those downloading services where you have the standard download, which takes the server's download slowly, and then you have the fast service. Oh, if you pay $20, you can download this in 3 seconds. That's basically what's going to happen. And with that, say you're not paying that money, they could totally block out that, make the site unusable on top of that. For instance, Cuba has like 5 times slower than internet speed. If that internet company have full control, let's say there's a website they like, Cuba, I think it's Cuba, don't hold me up that, but anyway, some countries have very less. They have like 5 times slower internet than the United States alone does with net neutrality. Imagine that 200 times slower than that times 5. Because the internet service provider, say, doesn't like Netflix because it shows, I don't know, lesbian content, or say this one company, let's just say Verizon hates Pornhub. Guess what? You can't access Pornhub because the servers are too low. They completely blocked it. Let's do one that's more implementable on freedom of speech. Let's say someone has this evidence that Act spokes against a corrupt government official. That internet provider happens to support that government official, blocked. Literally, it gives them that kind of power. And that's something that I will not allow to be changed in my government. This is something that I personally, if this excels far enough, and if it does start to reach out even on religion, and I'm Christian, and there's one thing about that, I believe in, is that when it starts to infringe in our religion, we have every right to fight back on a government. I'm a firm believer you should support your government until they're at the point where they're infringing your beliefs, your truths, and that sort of stuff, before you should even consider becoming aggressive. We're not at that point yet. There is still a very legal way to fight this off, and even after, if it becomes official, there still is. But if it gets to the point where doing it through the government will not work, it will require a full-on revolution, full-on riot. And many people right now, just in McPherson alone, are already tired of it. Some of them are starting to really outspoke about it. Like, again, I've been talking to my neighbor about this, and this is surprising. He's the opposite house of me, and me and him have 100% absolute agreement on this. I guess I'd be he says I'm considered libertarian because I'm a swinger, but I've always kind of swayed on the more Donald Trump side of things, is where he was more Hillary. But, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about that point anymore, because we shouldn't identify by who we elect, and this is a prime example of that. That stuff doesn't make who we are. What makes who we are is the fact that we have freedom, and that we should contribute each other as brothers. So when it comes to the freedom of stuff, like, even if I may not agree with something you say, I'm going to defend with my life for your right to have that freedom. And if net neutrality is going to be removed, the internet should not be used at all, because it's a place where they can control what you're seeing and saying, and you'll have more freedom in the real world than you will in the internet world. Ultimately, if this passes, I won't even be able to do 3-in-1 static gaming, nor will I. I'm not going to pay additional fees just to have faster upload speeds or to be able to play Xbox or anything. Screw that. I'm sorry, companies, you're going to start losing money from us really fast. I'm surprised that the FCC even let this come to pass. I'm very angry. It's really hard for me to stay revered. But people, you got to remember, in the U.S., we have to remain revered. I actually did a document about this, about how Americans used to treat each other. Nowadays we're always harking on each other. And for once, this has been a wake-up call for the United States, for us to be pretty much unanimous. This is what it felt like for the United States, for us people to actually be working together. We had very much disagreements, but we got things done. We found middle grounds. We didn't fight each other. We kept ourselves informed. We kept I think you trying to understand. You understand what I'm trying to say, don't you? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say is that we didn't do things just because we were selfish. We did things because we saw a need for it. We did things because we wanted to protect the world. That's what made America great in those old days. That's what used to make us the greatest country in the world. And I grew up in this world believing that. And then waking up to a realization that America really isn't the greatest country in the world anymore. That we're fighting feminist groups, menism, sexist, racist, lobbyists. The list goes on. What have we come to? Why have we as individual beings allowed ourselves to corrupt ourselves? Like, the government is a result of the people's voting. Remember that the U.S. government is not a vote by the populace. It is a vote by the populace who participate. Meaning, if you're not doing anything about it, somebody is going to speak for you. If you're against me and you don't say anything, I'm saying something for you because you're silent. There is thousands of people out there who just won't say anything. And they could be that one person that could change the way the world is. You know, it comes down to that quote that people who think they can change the world can. You can do it. You know, too many people believe that they just can't do this stuff, that they think because the way the world is, they're limited, they're stopped, there's a wall there. You shouldn't stop just because somebody believes different than you. Yeah, there is a boundary between right and wrong, but that comes based on your philosophy. There really is no true defined answer. In all reality, everything are just two rights opposing each other. So when it comes to opposing somebody that is different than you, approach it with respect. Don't approach it, well, fuck you, you're an idiot. By approaching it with respect, you're being revered. It's basically admiring them, but you're not necessarily accepting them. Kind of like the whole quote that you may be seeing it, but you don't have to accept it. Same thing goes when it comes to gays, lesbians, all this. We're always fighting about this because we refuse to accept that people want to be different. You know, let people be their individual without being insulted. There's one thing that the U.S. should do unanimously, no matter what it is, especially when it comes to our freedoms, especially in the case of net neutrality, is whether you're the red wing, blue wing, or in the middle, we should always come together to defend the freedom for people to have these opinions and beliefs and never let anything infringe of it. As an American people, as a country, as a whole state of the United States of America, we need to choose whether we want chaos or we want order. Chaos is to have freedom, order is to have control. Both are bad. We need to find that balance. And right now, we are all over the place. I'd say we're more leaning towards chaos than anything, while the government's trying to relay order. Because we're in chaos. The only way to fix it is if our people stop becoming so sporadic, so crazy, that we start approaching things with care. I took this opportunity to say something now because this seemed like a more perfect time than anything, since people are finally listening to other people, that people at other Democratic parties are actually taking time to converse and talk with each other. It's not right that we should be fighting each other the way we are. It's okay to be in a disagreement, but it's not right to say somebody should die because they oppose you. That's not freedom. That's not choice. With net neutrality gone, you could definitely see one side winning. In this case, say I oppose that person who believes in control, but that person is the internet provider. He automatically has the say because he controls what we say on the internet. Now, in the real world, there's nothing that this can really say, but it still can affect you in the real world. For instance, my job is completely online. With this, I won't have internet. I won't be able to do half the things my job requires me to do, which includes payroll. I can't get paid without the internet. I can't do my e-learning without the internet. Sonic can't do micros without the internet. The internet service providers would have total control of the Sonic corporatized industry if they get control of the internet in this way. They can control how much Sonic pays for their internet, even more so than they do, which is limited by net neutrality at this point. A lot of businesses, a lot of people are going to have to start going to the old U.S., doing things by paper, by book. Honestly, I think that's a good thing, but this isn't the right way to get to that. It definitely isn't. In the first place, we shouldn't have spent so much of our life developing with an online world when it comes to businesses, when it comes to as far as getting paid and things like that. Because now we're in a situation where very lives, such as myself, our livelihood is at effect as this. Some people are losing their livelihoods because this is being passed. And I can't stand by that. That's not right on so many levels. It destroys their right to live, their right to do what they love. Because the internet used to be a free, open place. It still is right now, but it's going to change in about a month. It's not right that Americans would just allow that to happen. I'm not going to let that happen. I'm not going to let the ability to choose to be free in the United States that we have be taken away from us just because our country has become backwards or just because our country has been this, that, or this. It doesn't matter. Even if I'm like the one and the only person standing in here, I'm going to stand firm on my opinion, and I'm going to stand it till the day I die. Just like the whole gun incident, when it comes to our freedoms, you can pry it from our cold, dead hands. And I mean that to FCC, to the government, to Audit Pie. To be honest, I wouldn't fucking mind taking a gun to Audit Pie's head and say, here you go, this is what happens when you mess with the populace. That's the thing, that's the problem, is that we're letting one corrupt official get away with this. At least the FCC did. We still have a chance to fight back the right way without having to do anything with bloody hands. Contacting your senators, representatives, it's the best thing to do. And I know I'm not actually going to go shoot someone. It's not right to do that, to take somebody else's life. If you're taking somebody else's life, say you're a murderer or something, I very disrespect you. But, even then, freedom, and come on. Who doesn't want that? Seriously, why does Audit Pie even think that this will benefit him? Why does the FCC think this benefits? They're turning their backs against the people when the people have clearly voiced that they do not want this. I sat in the shadows because I grossly like to state that I'm independent when it comes to the government. I don't like to really affiliate with our government because the red and blue have refused to work together in so many years. Until now, they're pretty much finally coming together. The reason why our government worked in the past is because the red and the blue did work together to solve issues. That's when we deserved the right to say we had red, white, and blue. It was the reason why our soldiers went to war, was to protect our rights for various reasons like these, to protect our freedom. We can never, ever, ever let that go. That's one thing that the U.S. has taught me when it comes to the Pledge of Allegiance, to everything like that. That my allegiance is to the fact of freedom for people's ability to live, right? If something is something that I don't like, oh well, I'll accept it. But when it infringes a person's ability to live, believe, it's not right. First, we had health insurance. Obama tried to make it where everybody had to pay health insurance, getting rid of the freedom to choose whether we have health insurance or not. Then the list really just goes on. There's so many freedoms that we're losing today that a lot of us don't even realize, because too many people would be more willing to give up their freedoms for the sake of protection when they fail to realize that the U.S. has protection. It does have protection. Our armies protect us from all sorts of these things. America is still a great world power, and at the state that we are, where the people are, there's one thing for sure that I will state, is that I'm never going to let anything, not even another government, if America falls and another country takes over, let's say Mexico takes over, because that seems to be a thing right now, where Mexicans are flooding into the United States. It's a problem, we know it is, but the way we're going about it, it's not the right answer. It really isn't. Personally, we should just deport them back to Mexico. It's as simple as that. Their problem, the reason why they're going into the United States in the first place is because their country is probably backwards. Maybe America should investigate and trying to help the people there instead of taking people here. Make their place better, just like we did years ago with the 13 colonies. And granted, nothing's perfect, never will be, won't always will be, but when it comes to freedom, just don't let anything take that from you, ever. No matter who you are, you should defend the right for everyone to have freedom. Audit Pie, if I had to like, for those of us that are gamers, I would have to say, like, this is legitimately Assassin's Creed versus Templar right now. Our Templar would be a Templar, and the Assassins would be the people right now. Like, literally, this is kind of like a prime example of just corruption versus righteous. And no matter how much righteous people are against it, the bad people always find a way. And I don't know. It's stupid that we as Americans even let it go this far. That's where I'm gravely disappointed. I'm 21 years old. I don't understand what happened in the 80s. I don't understand what happened in the 90s. I don't even understand until about 2010 what was really going on. I didn't really understand until Obama. I was just beginning to understand government. I was in high school just now learning government in 2010. As a kid, I only know like very few basics. I only understood a few things. As a kid, all I knew is I highly respect the soldiers that went to war for us, regardless if I thought the war was not even needed. Like like for instance Vietnam, it may have not been needed, but you still got to respect those soldiers because they're giving their lives for a situation that we're in, and it's crazy to think that we would be pushed this far for stuff like this to be happening. I've been pulling my hair out because if this passes, I'm fucked. I'm fucked. You won't see me on YouTube. My clan won't even see me on Xbox. And I might be even homeless because that's how we pay our bills, is the internet. My job is also internet, so I might potentially even lose my job. And maybe businesses could afford it, but things like Google can be regulated now by service internet providers, and Google makes money for the open searches they have. It's funny that even Google was against this, Facebook was against this, I think even Twitter was against this. Instagram was against it. There was a lot of companies, major companies out there that were against this. Hell, even Target was against this. Brahms, which is a local business here, was against it, from what I know. I think even like KFC was against it. Kmart is against it. I think they were bought out by some other company though. I'm pretty sure Walgreens was against it. Don't hold me against this because I'm going off memory. This entire conversation was not scripted or anything, so this is seriously from the heart. But yeah, we as American people need to start choosing between chaos and order. Do we want freedom or do we want control? And I personally believe we need a balance of it. The government was made to keep that balance, not to take it away or give it. That's not what the government was for. To take away and to give, that is the way of the people. If the voices of the people have changed, then it should be done. But it's unanimous that people want pretty much unanimous that net neutrality needs to stay. Out of those that participate, it's pretty awesome. Now, if you don't understand what net neutrality is, it's basically the thing that lets you freely browse the internet after paying internet service. Let's just say you do like watching YouTube. If your internet service provider kind of hates it, they can block it. They can block specific videos. It's a very big infringement of freedom, and it's something, no matter how much you look at it, stand by. I just cannot stand beside it. And just remember that when you're talking about it, guys, be firm, be strong, and just be revered about it. Be respectful as much as possible. Using slang, outrageous terms, and yelling, it's gonna get us nowhere. It's just gonna make us look bad. It's probably the most controversial thing I've ever said on the channel. Some things that I would normally never say on a channel. But Uncle Koga is very serious about this. And Uncle Koga will defend his country, even if need be by arms. I will become a soldier for the sake of this country if that's how far this goes. I am absolutely serious about this when they start to infringe freedom, because when we start to give up freedoms, we start to lose control of our own individuality. They can start controlling who or what we are, and even maybe one day as far as to what we can live. It's an inevitable fate that one day there will be a humanist control. There's no doubt about it. I believe that's coming in the future. But when that happens, who knows? I just do not want that happening now. I'm going to do every bit of my power to prevent that. So, like I said, guys, if you don't know how to get legislation and act to happen, there is a chance to still fight it back. It's up to basically Congress at this point to do a reverse decision of the FCC. And basically all you need to do is go to your state's House of Representatives, find out who your senators are, how many of you have. I think it was like 2 for each senators, and then there's so many representatives depending on the population of the state. Contact all your senators, tell them, hey, I really support the original from 1943 or 34 net neutrality rules, or anything like that, that kind of stuff. And just tell them that it's absolute bullshit that FCC voted corruptly against freedom of the people, the voices of the people, for that matter. Tell them what you honestly feel. It could be something completely crazy. And down the line, if there's anything that you ever feel like this, on this level of a spectrum, that really, really just grinds your gears, don't hesitate to contact your senators, reps. You may be of the minority, but if you're participating, you at least will be heard. You have to be heard. You have to say something. This is something that we cannot sit down and let by. At this time and now, I'm fighting back, and you should too, especially if you want your freedoms. It's time we don't let things go this far. So I really wish I didn't have to make this video. I really wish I didn't have to be mad at my own government. God, I love my country, and it's sad to see it go down this way. Everything we've done is going down the trash because of the way we are. It's not just the people, and it's not just the government. It's us as a whole. So this is not only just a message to FCC, to our government, to our officials. It is also a message to the people, because every action, every choice we make influences the choices of others. Remember that. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy, guys. I'm getting real tired of it. I'm starting to see this corruption in game developments with the microtransaction system. I'm starting to see this corruption when it comes, to feminist, sexist, racist, and all this different stuff. I'm starting to see this corruption form into our representatives. I'm starting to see this corruption in the FCC, this corruption in our government, our presidency. It's not necessarily the fault of the government. It is the fault that some of us aren't saying anything, but it's also the fault that maybe potentially we're not raising our generations right. We need to take a good, long, hard thought about ourselves as we as an individually. What have we really done for our country? Too many of us today, and I mean today, keep asking the government to do something for them. This is one of those cases where you have to sit here and say, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do with it. Because those are some very powerful words, and they're absolutely true. So, I'm going to leave it off here, guys. I'm going to upload this video raw, unedited. Everything I've said will be unblocked. I'm actually expecting a lot of dislikes. If I get likes, I'll be surprised. If I get popular again, well, woohoo. The fact of the matter is I said something, and that's important to me. It's just not right to let so much power be given to one person, to one thing. Even in my own clan, where I'm the leader of it, I do not allow myself to have all the power. I have a second command and a third command, which the power is divided upon, which in the third command has a council, which is the voice of my people, in of which they can influence and change what we say by their participants. And the government's kind of set up the same. If they're not participating, how are they supposed to know what we're thinking? Well, I think without rambling on, that's all I pretty much can say. I really hope you guys supported net neutrality, and that you're going to continue to fight for it too. Just remember, contact your senators, contact your representatives, everything you can, and just do not let this thing become set in motion, because the fire is just got bigger, and if we don't fight back now, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. It's one of those things that we've seen the spark for a while, and we knew that it was going to get worse before it gets better, but this is our chance to get back together as this country, as a state, and turn things around for the United States. This is the one chance that we have to really make a difference. So we need to do it. We need to step up. All right, guys, I'm leaving it here because, yeah, I'm just going to start rambling. But yeah, I'm leaving it here. If for whatever reason you guys did enjoy, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. I do Halo content videos. If FCC survives and I somehow, or it passed and I somehow still have the internet, I'll still continue to upload all that stuff like that. I will try my best. I'm really constrained on time with this stuff. It's been taking me busy, but I do a lot of Halo content. I'm trying to bring back my horror game content, my Minecraft content, and then some of the other contents to go by. Just let me know what you guys are feeling. Sometimes I would love to talk to you guys about your opinions on things, whether you differ, and if you differ, tell me why you differ and what your supports behind them are. It'd be kind of interesting to know, because I always find a unique thing about that. But yeah, just remember, just don't let people take your freedoms. Anyway, guys, Kogaji Mente, I, signing out.